However, I feel like we do have this little hidden gem here where until people come and experience it and live here, when they first come initially maybe to visit, they don't see it in the right perspective until they live here and get involved here, because there's so much to offer. And let's be honest, Vancouver is 1 hour flight away. I'd rather just go there, visit, do whatever you want to do, visit and see whatever you want to see, and then come back here and have all of this peace and tranquility and nature at my fingertips, and it would still be affordable to do that, right?
And that's the other part about it, with all due respect to our friends, obviously, that live down the coast. A lot of them have no idea as to what does it look like, and north of Hope, more or less. Obviously, the unique area is Okanagan, but it's distinctly different from here. And in a good way, both areas are very, very attractive. What I like about northern BC in particular, it is likely the most progressive growth area in, if not in Canada, but certainly in British Columbia. Hello, I'm John Brink, and we are podcasting on the Brink from downtown Prince George, British Columbia, Canada. And for all those people watching us from around the world, they wonder where, they say, we know where Canada is, in British Columbia on the west coast, right? And then, where is Prince George? Well, we all know about Vancouver. We are 500 miles north, or 800 kilometers north of Vancouver. And it's a beautiful little town, a beautiful area, lots of forest, lots of lakes. Within 50 miles we have 100 lakes, and we have lots of friends, black bears, grizzly bears, caribou, deer, foxes, wolves. We call it paradise. Today we have a very, very interesting podcast. It's about horses. And one of my favorite things is I ride English dressage, so does my wife. We have horses. But this discussion between Rebecca Dahl and Caroline Perrin, it's about what is called BCNE, and it's saddle up and sword. Now, I must be honest about it. I have not personally heard about that, but we'll hear all about it from both Rebecca and Caroline. And so they shared with us. They are from Prince George, locally. So this is a typical local podcast in person rather than virtual. And so, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
So, Rebecca, you've been in Prince George for a long time?
I'm born and raised.
Can you imagine? One of the 6 people that are born and raised here.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. There's more than that. But Prince George is a very, very beautiful community. And Caroline, how about you?
Born and raised Prince George.
Also,
yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so today, a very, very interesting podcast about the region in particular, and for all people watching us from around the world. I usually mention Prince George, British Columbia, in particular northern British Columbia, is so unique in the world, really. Lots of forests, lots of lakes, lots of nature, and in Prince George is a community of about 80 to 85,000. The region probably 120,000, I would think, and relatively new. I came here about 60 years ago, and 1965, and I believe the population then maybe was 20 to 25,000, but it was a boom town, and Prince George was exploding, really, with investments in the forest industry and pulp mills and sawmills and all those other things. People came from far and wide, and usually what would happen is if you had a discussion with people, then the question would be, how long have you been here, and how long are you staying? Because most people came here to make money. After they made money, go elsewhere. Prince George has changed a lot since that time. It has become an amazing community to raise families, beautiful infrastructure in terms of swimming pools, and we sitting here in my studio downtown Prince George. Behind me we can see a new swimming pool area. At the same time, we have an amazing University of Northern British Columbia, has a medical part of that university as well. It's amazing. And the College of New Caledonia that has satellites, and so does the University of Northern British Columbia, all over the region. And so it has become a perfect place to have families and to expand. I heard you say, Rebecca, you and your husband, Clint, who I know well too, just came from Prince Rupert. You guys have a boat there and you spend some time on the boat.
Yep.
And again, a beautiful, beautiful. How far is Prince Rupert? One may ask from us. Prince George is in the center of British Columbia, north-south, east to west. If you want to go to Prince Rupert, we say, oh, you just go to Prince Rupert. Okay, how far is it, I wonder? 500 miles or 800 kilometers. Whoa! So British Columbia is a large, big province, huge opportunities still as we go further, but a great area to bring up a family.
Yeah.
Let's talk about horses.
Right.
As I said earlier, I was born in Holland, grew up in a farming area in northeastern Holland. So my family and uncles and aunts and all of those kind of things usually were attached in some form or another to farming and horses.
Right.
My sister already rode English dressage actually and competed in the European level when I grew up, so I was always around it. And then here in Canada, both my wife, myself, we ride English dressage.
Okay.
So we're familiar with dressage likely and jumping and Western, but then explain to us, either of you, maybe starting with Caroline, because you ride as well, saddle and sword. What does it mean?
Well,
and it's becoming more and more popular as a sport.
It is. So Saddle Up and Sword is a group that we have come into the BCNE and put on what's called cattle sorting. So it's 2 riders and you've got anywhere from 10 to 12 cows and they're all numbered except for you might have a few blanks. And then we need to sort them out of that pen in the right numerical order. So if they call 1, you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then there's a 0. So you still have to do the 0. And if they go out of order, you're out. You're done your competition. And you've got, and it's 60 seconds or less.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
But really, you need about 30 seconds or less to be in the top.
Yeah.
So has that been in, so what does BCNE stand for?
So it's the British Columbia Northern Exhibition. It used to be the PGX, so the Prince George Exhibition, and it's really our fall fair. And this is our 113th year running.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what all does it involve other than saddle and sword, or is it all about saddle and sword?
No, it's just one event of many. So just in the BCNE Ag Arena, Outdoor Ag Arena, we have the kids rodeo, we have barrel racing happening Thursday, Saddle Up and Sword is Friday and Saturday. Saturday night is our breakaway roping, and Sunday we go into more breakaway roping with team roping. And that's, like I said, just in the arena. We still have our Ale Fest that we do. We have the Midway. We have 4-H's there with all of their animals and their projects and their big auction and their shows. And of course, just the fun of all the vendors even there. The Kins are all sold out this year. We're pretty excited. It should be a great year.
It's big.
It is. It's still one of Prince George's biggest events.
And so that is in Prince George at the CN Center region there?
Yes, it is. Right down, we like to call it the Fairgrounds, but it includes the Jagerplex, all the barns down there, the CN Center with the kin centers we use.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
So it's interesting to talk about this a little bit broader, because the people from around the world that are watching us, are wondering if that the Fairgrounds is based on a number of things, all to do with animals and not only horses, but all the other things as well. So it brings young people, in one instance, together with animals and farming potentially.
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
It's a very important part. They call it 4-H.
Yeah.
Yes.
And 4-H, maybe just explain for our people watching us from around the world there, what does 4-H mean? You can explain.
Well, Caroline has actually been involved in 4-H.
Okay.
Yeah. 4-H I've been involved in since probably before I was 8, so over 40 years I used to be involved with it.
Right.
It's kind of, I guess you can look at it a bit of as a kids youth group, but we all do projects. So whether it be, there could be sewing, there could be photography, there could be the market animals, it just brings the kids together, and what we do is we learn how to manage it, like even financially. There's record books involved, so we have to say what our output was for income and what our output was for money, what our income is, say if we auction off our animals. All of that we have to document and say whether we even had a bonus or a decline in our money. So it's pretty neat, and it's out there to support the kids, and it was really like a lot of the farmer kids to just kind of get them out there and get them ready for the outside world.
Yeah.
So what is so unique about it in my mind is that everything these days seems to be social media. Everybody has an e-phone, and there is very little interaction, not as much as there used to be and should be in my mind. That like 4NE goes on all year long, not just this event.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And
this is their big display, I would say.
Yeah, this is their big show, and this is a very small part of it. 4-H is very hands-on. It's heart, head, hands, and health, because what we can do for our community.
So 4E stands what for?
Head, heart, hands, and health.
Yeah.
And all of that we can support our community with those 4-H's.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's also like they do public speaking, they have to do public demonstrations.
Oh, wow.
We ask them all to do some sort of educational display that they have to present, because that's a hard thing, so even being here, speaking in front of people, and it's something where I think we're really losing right now, like you say, with more of the internet and online things. Kids aren't used to talking face-to-face with people, and this they have to. With the judges, the judges go around and ask them questions. They need to know about their animal, and how to take care of it. And they're even judged on the husbandry of their animal, so how well they're taking care of their animal.
So how does it work now? So this is the main event that takes the weekend. How many days?
We're Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so the 4 days.
4 or 5 days. Yeah. And so, but during the rest of the year, they are involved in all those other things. And how many people would be involved there? How many kids?
I think right now they're sitting around 200 kids.
200 kids?
Yeah, so we're back up again, which is nice. Yeah.
And how often do they get together?
A couple times throughout the year. They even have what's called judging rallies, where they have to learn to judge their animals, and then once again they have to verbally speak it to the judge of why they're choosing one animal over the other. So once again, it's that really nice face-to-face interaction again.
Yeah, so, and I think that's so important now. And,
yes.
And so this event particular as the whole event under the saddle and sword, I'm just trying to visualize that. My goodness, so you got cows, and people train for that. There are 2 people involved in that, and then they have to saddle. So they got 60 seconds or something like that. So do you have to put a saddle on too?
No.
I was going to say dead alone, which
no.
takes 20 minutes.
No, 2 horse riders.
Yeah.
And there's one pen. It's a 60-foot pen. And so there's one person that stays in the gate, and they alternate back and forth. So then you would ideally locate your cow and single him out and push him through past your teammate, and then he would go and grab the next one. And you have to do that, like she said, in numerical order within 60 seconds or less in order to stay in the top of your category. It is based on, to win the whole contest, you have to have cow count, so how many cows you actually successfully did and how fast you did it.
Yeah.
So that's how and then they'll calculate, and there'll be a running tally throughout the 2 days that you're doing this. So you're just constantly going back in to add up to your score.
Yes.
And so you have it every year,
yes.
As part of the overall show. And you said, I think 120. How many years is this?
The fair itself has been 113 years. The Saddle Up and Sword we've just brought in the last 2 years. This is our second year. It's really something we're trying to bring back in. Yes. Yeah.
To keep the rodeo alive, because rodeo is starting to really die out. And especially we found in Prince George, like we're always going somewhere else. Like we go to Barrie or we go to Alberta a lot.
Yeah.
All over BC. However, we don't really have like a lot of bigger competitions in Prince George. So this is the idea, is to try to reestablish the rodeo grounds and bring back this competition life here locally.
What is the reason for it? That is the less farming, or what is the reason for it?
I feel like maybe it's just because it's, a lot of things fell off because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
So, and people got out of their habits and their patterns. And then also just volunteers just making things happen and keeping that spirit alive, because it takes work. And, I do feel though that, like you had mentioned before, kids aren't coming up and forward. So that's what we're really trying to do, is try to bring that back so that there's this interest. So if we can get more community out and people watch, then maybe the kids will start to come back and be like, hey, I want to do that. That looks like fun. Because it really is fun. I mean, it's not a judged sport. It's judged by the cows. They're gonna be the ones that are gonna tell you if you did the job right or not, and the clock. So nobody's sitting there critiquing how you're riding and how your horse looks and whatever. It's more like the cow's gonna tell you if you rode them right, and if the clock's gonna tell you how fast you did it. And that's it.
Yeah.
And so the whole event really is for the objective of you, both of you, is to bring as many people to all the events as possible.
Yes.
And so that would there be a cost involved for people that saying, I have a family, my wife, myself, hypothetically speaking, and 2 or 3 kids, so that we all go and say we should. It's just
the gate pass for BCNE, right?
Yeah. So it's included in your gate pass for the BCNE.
And then there's no charge beyond the gate pass to get into the actual entire BCNE.
Yes.
So the whole exhibition, whatever that wristband would cost you, and family pass.
So give me an example of, and so people know, can we afford that or can we not?
Oh, so if you're under 12 and under are free. $5 up until 15, and then from 18, and then from 18 to 55 it's $10. We're trying to keep it very affordable so people can.
And that is for the whole.
Yes, that's for anybody.
4 days.
No, that's for 1 day in. Yeah, one day.
Yeah, for 1 day
and
so.
But access to all of the everything that's there, that's available, that you get that for that price.
Yeah, all the events happening, of course, in the BC Ag Arena, which is the old rodeo grounds, all of the 4-H, all of the Midway. I mean, the Midway will be a little extra if you want to go on the rides and stuff, but then there's all the vendors and
So all the rides are there. So it's probably the biggest event of the year in Prince George.
It is still one of the biggest ones, yes it is.
And you attract people from all over northern BC, but not only from here. No. You probably got people competing as well, coming in from Alberta for one, and other parts of the province.
Absolutely, yeah, because the barrel racing, the roping, and the sorting is bringing in people from everywhere.
Yes.
And the barrel racing again is that is horse riding, but very high speed, where you have to have a number of barrels and you have to turn around. A very interesting sport to watch, actually. And we have some very, very good riders here. I podcasted some of them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
A couple of girls, actually. And they were very high level. Very interesting sport.
Yeah.
What else do they do in terms of horses? Is that pretty much what they do? Is there also dressage and jumping and Western?
Down at the grounds we have, I believe it's Cadora comes and they like to do their big jumping events. They quite like our field down there, so we've opened it up. They've rented our area, that
and
arena.
that again is on the Fairgrounds.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, and so there are always horses that are there steady, right?
Yep.
Yes, yeah.
And has that area been further developed? At one point they thought about it, expanding it.
We're hoping in the future, if we renew our lease, we've got a lot of big plans we're hoping for in the future. But we have done a lot of I'd say in the last 6 years, probably put about $100,000 or more into that grounds at the BCNE Ag Arena. It was the old rodeo grounds. We've gone to BCNE Ag Arena because it's so much more. Like we had the Renaissance Fair down there the other weekend.
Right.
We have regular markets, dog walkers rented to go down there. So it's more of a community park, really, is what we've really trying to turn it into. So, and yes, and then with bringing up Saddle Up and Sorts and stuff, we really feel like Prince George can host much bigger events when it comes to the horse world, and we're hoping to bring a lot more of that here.
And there is, in the region, Prince George, there's lots of industry, but in the region there is lots of outdoors, a lot of farming. If you go west, we have Vanderhoof and Fraser Lake, and on and on and on, Burns Lake, all the way from there in north and south. It's a lot of farming and farming related activities, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. It's great.
So you mentioned that you have horses. You still have horses?
Yeah, we have 7 horses.
7
actually.
horses.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we have a farm in North Saanich on the island.
Okay.
And then we used to be here and ride here, but the last 20 years we have a place there. And so I go there for the weekends. I usually leave here Friday afternoons, come back Monday morning to be around the Prince George with our companies that we have here.
Okay.
Both my wife and myself, we ride English dressage, which is...
What breed of horse?
A lot of them are warm bloods.
Okay.
And, dressage, are... Again, a unique sport, very popular. Actually, here there's a number of riding arenas here, and a lot of kids are into. It's for kids to be with, and that's what this is all about in my mind. 4-H and all the things that you're doing here, to be close to animals, whatever they are, I think is good and healthy. Yep. And the other part, which is important, and we talked about that a little bit earlier, is that so much of the activity, social activity by now is on iPhone and virtual TV, and not enough, in my opinion, where we bring people together, in particular young people.
Right.
And do it in what you guys are doing is very, very important in my mind.
Well, we see a fire for it right now. Like a lot of the riding arenas I go to, the kids are wanting it, so it's making it more available for them to go and do the cattle, because of course cattle, it's not easy for everybody just to bring cattle to work. So we have some great people in Vanderhoof that really help us out with that. So when you see a fire, especially with the kids, we just want to fuel it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. Tell me a little bit more about yourself, what you're doing, and other than this, is this pretty much full-time for you, what you're doing?
Well, both the BCNE and the riding, yeah. Like with our Saddle Up and Sort, well, even just with the sorting, and what else we do is cattle penning ourselves. So that is a big part of our year during the summers, our competitions. But in winter, we train all winter long. We're doing clinics, we're doing fun sortings, and for me, the BCNE, like I said, it's been a part of my life since I've been 8 years old. I started out as 4-H.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then my dad was a huge volunteer, so then we kept coming, and then we'd come back with our kids. Then my kids were in 4-H, and then, before you know, district council 4-H, I'm on there. And then I've just totally shifted now that my kids are out of 4-H, but I'm still keeping in that BCNE, and now my new passion is to bring the horses back more.
And that is the other part about it, is the passion, and especially for young people, once they get used to being around it and see their parents doing it, then they likely will follow. How about you, Rebecca? What do you do? You're involved in. You're not riding.
Oh yeah, I ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you ride? Have you got a horse or?
Yeah, we have quarter horses at home. We only have 3 right now. We have 2 performance horses and then 1 up and coming. So I keep them all rode up and training all year around for myself and my husband, and we travel a lot and compete. We also do cattle sorting, but we also do cattle penning. We just went to the Calgary Stampede, tried to qualify, didn't quite make it downtown, but
qualify for
to get downtown. So I don't think a lot of people understand that with the Calgary Stampede, you actually have to like you can go there and compete, but you have to qualify to make it downtown in order to be in the big area. We actually compete outside of Calgary in Stavely.
So for the people watching us from around the world, so Calgary is in Alberta. It's a big city, you know, and the Calgary Stampede annual event extremely popular.
It is,
and it has
even growing,
and people from all over the world come and watch it. So now you say to qualify, so there are so many people that want to compete in different things, you know, including, and I've been watching from time to time, they pulling wagons, 6 horses are in very high speed and amazing to watch.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what, you know, with how successful the Calgary Stampede is, even the Williams Lake Stampede, and then this BCNE, we're kind of trying to like recreate a small sector of that, or have that rodeo kind of feel where families want to come out and have something to go and watch and be entertained, really. And I think that even just coming and watching the Saddle Up and Sort, it is entertaining. It's not going to be boring. It's very fun. It's fast paced. I mean, every 60 seconds, it's a new group of people that are coming in the pen. It's lively. So I think it's going to be.
What is the pen?
The pen is the pen where the cattle are, where we have to sort them out.
Okay.
So, and there's always that thrill of like, what's the cow going to do? How are the horses going to act and behave?
Because they all got their own personalities.
Exactly. You're asking a lot of brains all to work together at the same time to accomplish one goal. And I mean, it is fun. We have a great time doing it. There, you know, people get excited and they start cheering, and it's fun. Yeah.
And it's usually family events, right? So when the parents are involved, and so usually are the kids. Yeah. And it's good for them in terms of social interaction, and then as you indicated here for the fall fairs and 4-H. I did not fully realize that it involves so many things in terms of health and fitness and public speaking, or being able to, all things that are extremely important, obviously, and you know, so, and to teach them to like and respect other living or animals from around the world is very rewarding, and can be quite intimidating initially, but you know, that I found being involved in riding for a long time, especially for young people, is very, very important.
Yeah. Yeah, the connection with a horse, I don't know how, like, you can explain it to people that what will happen when you find that horse that you love and they love you back. And so many people are scared of them and find them extremely intimidating, but until they actually experience their love, right? And until that happens. And that's what we want to keep alive, and let the kids have that chance and that opportunity, right?
And they all have personalities, you know, so that, you know, we have the 7 horses, and they are, some are getting older and other ones are, but they all have their own personalities, and they develop the relationship, and it's extremely rewarding.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I know they always teach you a way to ride the horse, but every horse is different. So you're going to ride each one different. You're going to have a bond with them each different, and
that's the fun part of it.
Yeah, and it's part of, as I said, part of the family, obviously. So the other part in Prince George, so you've been here for a long time. Both of you have been here for a long time. You've seen Prince George change, and obviously it's from time to time, because we mainly resource-based community that relies on mining, the forest industry. So there have been, in a lot of places around British Columbia and around Canada, there have been challenges, you know, of the communities changing, becoming more reliant on other things. But I found in the 6 years that I've been here is that it went from amazing, really, from a boom town initially, and meaning that when did you get here, when are you leaving, it's a place to make money, but it matured to become a regional center. And I usually, as I do my introductions, I call it the capital of the northern BC.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing place, and it's still very much in progress. And for a lot of reasons, to live here, and with all respect to our friends, that British Columbia has about 4 million people in that general area, and most of them are in the lower part, Vancouver region, the lower mainland, the island, relatively not many by comparison, or in northern BC, but more and more so all the time. In the last year or two of post-COVID, it has become much busier here, and northern BC is developing into a regional center, and I believe that's very, very important. The other part, obviously, First Nations becoming much more active and either managing resources or becoming part of it. The colleges, universities are attracting more and more people, so I think the Prince George region has a lot of good opportunity in the next 5, 10, 15 years. I believe that there'll be probably 200,000 people in the next 20 years, I believe.
Yeah, I feel like we do not have our statistics right, because with the amount of new builds here, and it's constantly growing, I feel like the population has remained the same. Like every time you look, I'm like, how is it possible? Like we have all these new places, the university, like you said, and our population remains the same. However, I feel like we do have this little hidden gem here where until people come and experience it and live here, when they first come initially maybe to visit, they don't see it in the right perspective until they live here and get involved here, because there's so much to offer. And let's be honest, Vancouver is 1 hour flight away. I'd rather just go there, visit, do whatever you want to do, visit and see whatever you want to see, and then come back here and have all of this peace and tranquility and nature at my fingertips, and it would still be affordable to do that, right?
And that's the other part about it, with all due respect to our friends, obviously, that live down the coast. A lot of them have no idea as to what does it look like, and north of Hope, more or less. Obviously, the unique area is Okanagan, but it's distinctly different from here. And in a good way, both areas are very, very attractive. What I like about northern BC in particular, it is likely the most progressive growth area in, if not in Canada, but certainly in British Columbia. That with all the activity happening in mining in particular, re-emerging at some point of the forest industry and other activities, with the college or university, it is a place that gets more and more attention. It certainly has the attention of capital now, in saying this is the place where we will see growth. And in my companies, when I came here in 1965, couldn't speak language, didn't know a soul, didn't have any money. I had $25.47. And the dream of building a lumber mill. And then, but since that time, obviously been very involved in other businesses. Now what we're doing is I'm involved in lumber, which is a bit of a challenge right now, but I'm sure that will pass at some point. And we have an immense ability in British Columbia, and particularly in the north, to grow timber of the best quality in the world. And it's always amazing. I fly a lot, you guys probably do as well, and every time I fly, all I see is timber.
I know.
The amazing, and capital will be attracted to that, and the industry will look different, the forest industry, than it does now. It's simply a cycle, and so there's huge opportunity there. The other one, in terms of mining, huge opportunity. I believe we have 12, 13, 14, 15 mines ready to start up here. And then obviously your husband, Clint, I know him well. I do business with him. We spent some time. We were looking. The Brink group of companies were looking at investing in the Prince Rupert area. We went down there about a month or two or so ago. And although I'm familiar with Prince Rupert and Kitimat, aluminum manufacturing, and then obviously Prince Rupert, it's a major port for interaction between Asia and the U.S. Northeast and the railroad from there on in. I cannot, every time I go to Prince Rupert, and I did a couple of months ago, I cannot believe the amount of activity there and the expansion of it. And Prince George is what they call an inland port, and has potential there. And that brings with it, as we already mentioned, is that if you're living down the coast in an apartment and you're sitting on God knows how, and all that is around you is concrete, spend some time for our friends down south. Come down to northern British Columbia, take a look around in terms of education, in terms of all the things that we have. Can you imagine, approximately where I live and where I work for the last 50 years. Actually, we've been in business with my company, Brink Force Products, for the last 50 years. It takes me 5 minutes to get to my job. And that is if the light is on red. If it is, then it's probably 4. So not an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half at night. So, and that's just one example, but I think the future here is immense. And and sometimes I say to the city and to the mayor, Simon Hugh, I know him well, I think the council and city are doing a good job, but we have to act like a center in saying, what we can be and what we will be, and what you guys are doing in terms of the fall fair and in terms of all the things working with young kids, younger persons in particular, that is huge opportunity. And for all the people watching us from around the world, if you're planning on a holiday, think Canada, and a lot of people do, and then not only think Canada, think in particular British Columbia, and in particular northern British Columbia, because it's so beautiful to do it. If you come into Calgary, you can go up to Jasper and then back to the Prince George, northern BC region, come back the other way, or if you flew into Vancouver, make sure you see the island potentially, but also go to northern British Columbia, because that's where the future is and the potential is, and still opportunity for in terms of business. We're doing a fairly major development on a commercial side, and I'm a believer, and always have been, from my $25.47 forward. But for opportunity of people that are new, there is no more friendlier area than British Columbia, in Canada, period, and especially people from Europe. I came here in 1965. I was 24 years old. But the reason that as I grew up, we were liberated by the Canadian Army April the 12th, 1945. And as a little boy, 5 years old, it made such an impression on me that I knew as I grew up I would go to the land of my heroes, Canada. And I did. And I managed to start with nothing and to build a company. Here you can do that, and there is lots and lots of examples of people that have done that. Maybe couldn't speak the language, didn't know anybody, but started working hard. And again, my foundation has been attitude, passion, work ethic, but follows this success. And you can have that here, where in other parts of the world, that is more of a challenge, maybe. And then the other part, what's very important to me, I grew up during the war years, seen war, seen the effects of war, and then at the same time, if you look around from here to the rest of the world, Eastern Europe, all the challenges, Ukraine comes to mind, Eastern, the Middle East comes to mind, and then can you imagine places like Russia, China, Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, and all of those kind of places? We're living in paradise.
Right, yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And all of what you guys are doing in terms of working with young people in particular, I've been very involved in saying, how can we, you cannot stop evolution in terms of computers and iPhones and all those other kind of stuff, but how do we bring them closer together to interact, in a more social setting that is starting to disappear somewhat, and how can we make that change direction? Obviously, the Fall Fair is doing that already and has done that for the next 110 years. And for all those people watching us from around British Columbia and Northern British Columbia, but also from other places, plan a weekend. When is
August 14th to the 17th.
Will be the Fall Fair. It's always the third weekend of August.
So for all those people watching us from around British Columbia, what a time to come down to Northern British Columbia. Mm-hmm. The weather is, relatively speaking, doesn't have extremes. It's a good time of year, comfortable.
Yeah, very comfortable.
Yeah, and then there's lots of places to stay here, and then take it in and gives you a taste of Northern British Columbia and potential opportunities. And I believe that part is very, very important. Plus, it shows your kids, grandkids, or whoever, an opportunity to see what are we doing here, what can you interest them in, and it shows you also how kids interact together, and especially looking at farm animals or horses or all those other kind of things. But it's a lot more involved than just that. But it gives you a feeling of Northern British Columbia. Plus, looking around, real estate, relatively speaking, is still very competitive here compared to other places. Yeah. The likelihood of finding jobs, there are jobs available, more and more so all the time, as we have pipeline expansions, both to the east to west as well as to the south. Probably 10, 12 different mining operations will open here, and the forest industry will come back to where it was before. How can it not? Because all we're doing is growing forest here, and there is a basic shortage of forest around our lumber products around the world of the quality that we manufacture. Yes. And in spite of what our friend called Donald Trump thinks down south, they don't need our timber. They do. 70% of the lumber that they need is grown in Canada, actually, and a big portion in BC. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all of that being said, is there any comments that you want to make as we're closing here?
No, we just want everybody to feel really welcome to coming down and enjoying themselves and being a part and cheering us on maybe. Yeah. And, we've got some spectacular prizes available for our competitors, and
just a great environment to be around, positive. There's we want them to come out and see the new sport. It's not a new sport; it's an old one, the sorting, but it's one that we haven't had here for a bit.
Cattle sorting is really, it came from the ranch, and they just made a competition out of it. I mean, they do this. I mean, later today, I'm going out and helping a friend who needs to go on the open range. One of his friends lost their cattle, and it's over in their other's property, and we have to round them up and take them back. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And it's fun. Like, for me, people pay money to go do this. I get to go do this for free. And this is just my afternoon on a Thursday.
And that's the example of Northern British Columbia. You would respectfully never enjoy that or get exposure to it if you're in the lower mainland. And for all our friends living there, what an opportunity it is. The date was again?
The 14th, 15th, 16th,
so
and 17th.
That's next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that still got time, guys. Get ready, go to Northern British Columbia, watch this, because you can see it all. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all the different sports, all the things to do with your kids, plus that will give you exposure to Northern British Columbia and all the opportunities with it, because capital looking to invest is watching Northern British Columbia. It's identified as the growth potential in the next year or two, and from there on forward.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that Clint?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Like
Thanks, guys.
thank you.
That was a great interview and a great opportunity. And again, for all the people watching us in BC, this is an opportunity to come down to Northern BC. And for all the people watching us from around the world that are saying, and I use with all the podcasts that I'm doing, I usually speak a little bit about Northern British Columbia. I call it paradise for all the reasons that I didn't identify, but it is obvious that there are still opportunities, and especially with the world in transition, because of numerous reasons in numerous places around the world, the opportunities are still there in Canada, in particular in British Columbia and Northern British Columbia. Start with doing a visit. And from around the world, if you plan your visit for later this year or next year, plan it to see Canada, British Columbia, in particular Northern British Columbia.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all of your support too, by the way. It's
Yes.
very appreciated. Yeah.
Thanks, you guys.
We love it. Thank you.
Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And for all those people watching us, and again, this was a unique show for, a local perspective, both with Rebecca and Caroline, who were born here, have been involved in the community in different ways, both of them, in numerous ways, and so are their families. And obviously it's very dear to me because that's what I do. I've encountered them, I've seen it, I've supported them, and there are things that they do for the community. And if you like what we are doing in Northern British Columbia and in this podcast, then subscribe to my podcast, like it, share it with others, and at the same time make comments. And again, thank you for watching us.